10th grade channel. I'm your teacher Aishwarya, and in our class today we are going to be solving super duper important top 15 questions from the chapter Control and Coordination. So now of course today we are going to be doing a mixture of multiple choice questions. We will be doing subjective questions together, and these are all going to be based off on the important topics on which you will get questions in your examination. So it is going to have a mix of your PYQs as well. So students, I hope all of you here are ready for today's class, and very quickly students, please do let me know if my audio, my video and my screen and whatever I've written on the screen is visible to all of you. If it is, please do give me a quick thumbs up in the live chat to let me know that we are good to go. So I can see that Vedant, Seema, I can see there's a lot, Divyanshu, Cosmotalk, Neha, Princess Bacha, pay attention in class, right? Yes, today we are going to be having polls as well, so don't worry about it. The MCQs will be poll based, yes? So first 7 questions that we're going to be doing are going to be MCQs, and the next 8 questions that we're going to be doing is also going to be based on subjective questions and whatever important questions are there, right? So very quickly, I can see all of you here are excited for today's class. And of course, right, when you are coming to the class, please make it a point that you have your textbooks, you have your notebooks, you have your pen, pencil, everything ready, because we are going to revise the full chapter today. And this particular class, so what is going to be the duration of this class? Since we're going to be solving 15 questions and not more than that, we will try to wind this up in 40 minutes. But maximum, that is how much I'm going to take, right? Not more than 40 minutes, which is why I need you to make sure that I have your complete undivided attention for the next 40 minutes, right? No spamming in the chat, no unnecessary conversations. And for students watching this much after the live stream, do not worry, you can quickly go ahead, right? And yes, Neha's right. Please get your water bottles as well. See, Neha remembers along with many others. Ansh Bacha, please, I will take your doubt. I'll take it towards the end if you don't mind, right? Because I'll be taking class to your seniors. I hope you are okay with that. Yes? Okay. So now, of course, as we all know, the periodic test series has officially ended because of with mathematics. Of course, I think by this week it would be ending, right? So more or less we have finished it up. And team 7 guy, no ignoring here, right? So we are definitely there is no ignoring happening. I just request you all not to spam, right? ठीक है, I have just started money, don't worry. ठीक है? Now, of course, for the past few weeks, right? So of course, a lot of you that are there, yes, I can see that many of you are attending my class for the first time. So for many of you who are attending for the first time, I know for the past few weeks, maybe it would have felt like, arey ma'am, you know, we don't know what exactly or when classes are happening, which is why, as you can see, for the next 3 weeks at least, we will be following this timetable. So Wednesday at 7 p.m. you will have classes for biology, right? Tomorrow you will have it for chemistry, and then for mathematics. Now understand that these are time slots, right? These are the times at which I'll be taking class. Now bio and social classes, you know that it's not just going to be me. Ankita ma'am is also going to be here, right? So very important that we will be taking classes, yes? And of course, as we all know, one important thing to understand is that these are not live slots, right? These are times when class will happen. It could be live class. We try our best to keep live classes, but sometimes we will do some concept related short videos so that you can revise faster, right? So of course, students, this is a quick update. If you want to take a screenshot, you can quickly take a screenshot. And of course, without wasting any more time, we will get started with the class, right? So Ranjit, can we have the first poll ready, please? Are you going to give a summary? Okay. So I will start with a quick summary of the chapter. That's a good idea, right? So of course, in this particular chapter of control and coordination, we learnt about what is coordination and why it is necessary to have this coordination. Now, of course, broadly, we learned that in our body, there is nervous coordination, and we learned about chemical coordination, right? Now, in our case, we know that nervous coordination happens with the help of the nervous system. And in this particular case, we learned about the neuron and the types of neuron that is there, right? So neuron is the basic structural and functional unit, and we learned about the types of neuron. Then we learnt about how the nervous system is broadly divided into CNS and PNS. CNS being your central nervous system, PNS being your peripheral nervous system, right? So now, of course, when we talk about the central nervous system, we learnt about the structure of the brain, the different parts and its function. Then we also learnt about the spinal cord. And in this case, we learnt about the role of spinal cord in reflex arc as well. Now, in PNS, we learnt about the cranial nerves and we also learnt about the spinal nerves. Yes? Then in chemical coordination, we saw that in our case, it is being controlled by hormones and they are produced by endocrine glands. And we learnt about the different endocrine glands in this particular case. Now, along with this, we also learnt about plants and coordination in plants, right? So, how we see that there are certain coordinations which happens with respect to stimulus, some which are not related to the stimulus as well, but due to turgor movements, right? So, I'll say not related to the stimulus, or I'll say they're not growth related. Then, of course, we learnt about the role of the different phytohormones which are there inside the plants and their role as well. Yes? So this is going to be a quick overview of the chapter, right? So this is a quick overview and very quickly we will get started with the first question. Yes? I will answer your question, bacha. Just give me one moment. So very quickly, let's get started with question number 1, everybody. On your screens now. Yes, this is the first question. Can we have the poll, Ranjit? A, B, C and D, right? So now, of course, here the first question is a part of the body which responds to the instructions which are sent from the nervous system is called as dash, right? Is it going to be receptor, effector, nerves or muscles? Everybody quickly. Okay. In the meanwhile, your very dear junior Ansh has a very good question. Ansh is like, ma'am, in optional questions, how to identify whether one option is correct or more than one. They will clearly specify, right? If it is a multiple choice question, they will say that only one answer is correct. If they say multi-select question, that means multiple answers could be correct, right? So that is how you will identify. So now, of course, the poll is live for all of you and I can see that almost 35% of you have voted for the answer B. Okay, around 36. All right. I can see around 29% is voting for option A. Then I can see about 25% is or 27% odd is voting for option C. We are clear that it is not a muscle, right? Okay, ma'am, B is the right answer. All right. Okay. All right, everybody. I can see some good number of you have got the answers here. Very good. Very good. I think we can close the poll, Ranjit. Can we close the poll, please? Yes. All right. Yes. So I can see that majority of you, 39% is the final vote for option number D. But of course, in this particular case, let me tell you that this right here is the correct answer. But the percentage of students who have got this right is relatively less, right? We are talking about the part of the body that responds, right, to the instructions. That means your central nervous system is here, your brain or your spinal cord. And we see that this right here is sending instructions, right? It is sending instructions to someone. Who will it send the instructions to? Who will it send it to? It will either send it to a muscle or a gland. And collectively, what do we call it? We call it as an effector, right? You call it as an effector. Receptor is the one which receives or perceives the stimuli and sends information to the central nervous system, right? So the answer here is effector. And Sonu Bacha, experiments by Mani. If you have doubts, right, if your basics are not clear, then this particular class might be a little tough for you, which is why I recommend you watch the video either done by Ankita ma'am on this topic or you watch a one-shot video, right? Watch the one-shot video that was done by me. Yes? Ma'am, is it receptor? Receptor is wrong. Receptor is the wrong answer, right? The correct answer here is actually option B because it's saying sent from central nervous system or from the nervous system. Ma'am, it could be D also. It could be D. But why is it not D? I like the fact that you asked me this question, Akshara. It could be D, but why not D? Why can't it be muscles? Yes? Why can't it not be muscles? Because an effector is not just a muscle. An effector is also muscle or gland, right? So ideally they are not saying that, it is saying to the part of the body. Not only muscle will get instructions from nervous system. No, other parts of the body could also get information, muscle being a part of it. Exactly, it could be glands as well, which is why the answer is effector, right? Question is being very vague, question is very simple, but you need to read the questions, right? Yes, these are PYQs. These are PYQs, okay? Now we will move on to question number 2. So can we have question number 2 on the screen, please? I mean the polls on screen. Moving on, right? The fall of mature leaves. Let me use my favorite color. Fall of mature leaves and fruits from the plant is triggered by dash. It is triggered by which hormone? Auxin, cytokinin, gibberellin, abscisic acid. Students, star mark this concept. This is very, very important. Exam point of view, I am telling you, this is a question that will come at some point in your life in this year when you do it, okay? So this is a very, very important question. Yes, important. It is important. Very good, very good. Answers are coming my way. Almost 83 plus votes in. I need all of you to go ahead and give me the votes. And you can tell me in the meanwhile, why do you think this is the correct answer, right? Team 7 guy has already started giving me the answers. Yes, very good Team 7 guy, very good. I think we can close the polls, Ranjit. All of you have already answered. Yes. Now they have also sent you the control and coordination one-shot link as well in the live chat. So those of you who want to watch it can watch it, right? Very good, very good. So we can wind up the polls and I can see 66% of you have voted for option number D. Followed by 14% of you voted for gibberellins and very small percentage. But very proud. Princess, Khushbu, Akshara, many others, Team 7 guy being the first, right? Okay, very good Neha. Okay, so correct answer in this particular case is option D, right? So when you talk about fall of mature leaves, this is senescence and aging that is happening, right? Aging. And here this is a growth inhibitor, like how all of you have told me. And there is only one growth inhibitor in the plant body, or one growth inhibitor hormone. Yes? Growth inhibitor hormone, which is nothing but ABA or abscisic acid. While the remaining 3 here are growth promoters, right? So these guys are growth promoters. So fall in leaves and fruits and all of that, and dormancy of seed hormone. This right here is also what we consider as abscisic acid, right? I mean, we see that these are abscisic acid is responsible for all of this, right? Yes, there is no menti. Menti to, we'll do it later, Khader, we'll do it. Menti hoga. Thode din ke baad, right? First, we'll solve questions together. Moving on to question number 3. Movement of sunflowers or movement of sunflower in accordance with the path of the sun is due to chemotropism, geotropism, phototropism, hydrotropism, right? Function of gibberellin is to, can we have the polls, Ranjit? Function of gibberellin is elongation of stem, allowing seed germination to happen. That is a function, right? Sample paper for midterm, we will set a mock paper for all of you guys. We'll do it, don't worry, midterm ka we will sort out. We have a lot of plans coming your way, right? Yes. See, for class 8 and see, understand that even for class 6, 7th and 8th, although live classes may not actively happening, because we're trying to do concept sessions which are short, right? We're trying to do short concept sessions that can help you out. Yes? Yes, Sony, let me know in the comments of this video. Okay. I had one more doubt which I'd like to take. Ma'am, can you please explain about dormancy in seeds? AV Bacha, can I do it in the end of the class? Or if I have a question that comes, wherein I'll be able to explain that once again, I'll do it then, okay? But right now, I mean, since I'm in this flow, I will take it, but I will keep that doubt in mind. Yes? Yes, yes, I know. Many of you have it during September, I think, right? Very good, all of you. I think we can wind up the polls, Ranjit. 91%, right? 91% of you have told me that, ma'am, the correct answer is option C, phototropism, right? ANS also I will explain, Ishan. Just give me 2 minutes. Yes? Okay. So very good, all of you. Correct answer is phototropism. Now I'll tell you one extra information, right? One extra information what I'm going to tell you here is, although broadly we say that phototropism is the movement of sun in accordance to the path, movement of sunflower in accordance to the plant. This in itself has a very important term, right? This in itself, this movement is actually called as heliotropism. Yes? Under phototropism, we find a specific terminology called as heliotropism. This is extra information, but as per your NCRT, it's okay, right? As per NCRT, this in itself is fine. But of course, as we all know, right, if for extra information, always remember that it's called as heliotropism. Yes? Awesome. Okay, very good. Now let's move on to question number 4, everyone. Oh, this is a little tricky, right? This is a little tricky because if you don't read the question properly, you could go wrong, but it's very simple. Roots of a plant are positively geotropic, negatively geotropic, is it positively phototropic, or is it none of the above, right? Now, many of you are asking me about question banks and PYQs. If you want to access PYQs, we have PYQs available on the BYJU'S website itself. You don't even need to download anything. Just go to the BYJU'S website and try previous year questions. You will be able to find it. It's always available. If you want it with solutions, it is available on the app. You can download it. But website is an easier way to go. You can go there absolutely. I'm not that simple for you. Next, if you want to invest in a question bank, right? I would suggest that question bank, first of all, we have all the question banks and we pick and select the best kind of questions and we bring it to you so that it's easy for all of you. And we make sure that whatever most repeated questions are there, our team goes through it, making sure that they give you the best. But in case if you want to practice it, there are some recommended popular brands that are available like, Oswald, Arihant and all those brands that are there. You can buy that also. But again, like I said, we do that bit of homework and we bring it to you anyway, right? All right, so I think we can wind up the polls, Ranjit. Yes, very good. You have no idea how proud I am of all of you, right? I am super duper proud because I can see that 74%, right? So 74% that is there. We see that the correct answer here, of course, is option A, which is positively geotropic, right? So positively geotropic because we know that geotropism that is there. Geotropism is, of course, growth in response to gravity, right? And your roots are positively geotropic because they grow towards the stimuli, while we know that stem is negatively geotropic and stem is also positively phototropic. That means it grows in the direction of light, while here your root is negatively phototropic, which is why answer is option A. Very good. All of you have scored 4 out of 4 so far, right? Yes, very, very good. Moving on to the next one. Look at the diagram here. Now students, diagram based questions. Okay? Diagram based question. Find out the missing term. Stimulus, receptor, sensory neuron, something is missing, motor neuron, effector, response. What does the diagram represent? Very quickly, this is an extra question I'm asking you. What does this flow chart represent? Can you tell me? Akshara, I will tell you in a bit. What is it? Reflex arc. Exactly. Reflex arc, right? So the diagram represents a reflex arc. So when you get diagram based questions in biology, first try to understand what is the diagram showing you, right? After you identify what the flow chart or the diagram is showing you, then you go for the question. I'm telling you, this is the best technique you can follow, right? Moving on. Is it spinal cord, muscles, cranial nerves or relay nerves? Quickly, poll, can we have it live, Ranjit? Poll is live, students, very quickly. Thank you so much, GB videos. Lots of love to you. Now, Akshara, you are asking me about, ma'am, I bought a question bank which has only sample papers. So, is it prescribed by CBSE? So, see, there are sample question papers which are set by those, the folks who are responsible for designing the book, right? So, some sample papers are set by them. Official sample paper in CBSE is released in the website, right? So, you will find all the previous year sample papers in that as well. In case if you need help finding it, I'll maybe pin the link of that in the description, in the comments of this video. You will be able to find all the sample papers, right? Yes. Oh, hello, intelligent boy. Welcome. How are you? Okay, this is a very easy question. I think we can wind up the poll. 74% of you have got the answer, right? Very, very good. Yes? So now, of course, in this particular case, correct answer here is option A, which is spinal cord. Now, students, let me tell you one thing, right? Now, let me tell you, ma'am, spinal cord, then relay neuron. Ma'am, spinal cord, then relay neuron, it represents reflex arc. Yes, very good, very good. So now always understand, right? Relay nerves. Okay. Neuron, you have nerves, right? So now your nerves are basically nothing but a collection of neurons that are there, right? So in your neuron, you have your sensory neuron, you have your motor neuron, and you have your relay neuron, or what we call as an interneuron, right? And now we know that this relay neuron or interneuron are mainly found in the spinal cord, right? So understand this, it is going to be neuron. Types of nerves, you have sensory nerves, motor nerves, and you have mixed nerves. You don't have relay nerve per se, right? So which is why in this particular case, if you see, going back to the diagram, how could it be? Stimulus is perceived by your receptor. Receptor will realize that, oh, some stimulus is there. Could be light, could be touch, could be heat. Your sensory neurons are responsible for transmitting information from receptor to central nervous system. But in this particular case, we see that central nervous system could be spinal cord, right? Mainly, most reflexes are handled by spinal cord. Then information from here is transmitted to effector by motor neuron and the response, right? Yes. Muscle automatically vibrate. Many reasons could be there. It could also be maybe the knee jerk reaction, right? So knee jerks happen as a reflex that happens. Yes? Okay, moving on. Main function of cerebrum is thinking, hearing, memory, balance. Can I change the question, students? I want to change it a little bit. Which among the following, I'm changing the question, is not the function of cerebrum? Yeah. I have to do this a little. Main function is there, right? So I'm changing the question because of obvious reasons. Then you'll know why I changed it. Yeah. I know. I'll tell you two aspects of it. I made the question a little easier for you. That's all, right? I just made it a little easy for you at this point. Don't look at this part. But this question also exists. It's there, I think, in your exemplar, it's there. But I just simplified the question now for all of you. So this deserves the fact that I made it easy for all of you. You have to hit the like button and subscribe button, right? I don't want control coordination to be scary. I make it a point that I make it easy. So I want love. How do I want love? Like button. Yes? Okay. ठीक है. अभी तो now everybody's like, ma'am, we know the answer, right? Yes. जल्दी जल्दी फटाफट. Like karo, subscribe karo, love karo. Yes. Ma'am, refer a good coach. Me, Ankita ma'am, come here, Sharanappa. We are here to take care of you, right? Yes, I'll tell you the answer for both the questions. All right. Because ma'am, exactly, I know some of you might get a little confused, right? Some of you would get confused, but I'll give you the answers for both. Can we wind up the poll, please? Let's close the polls. Very good. 63% of you have given me the answer, which is balancing, right? Body balance, body posture is not a function of cerebrum, right? And we see that balancing that is there is a function of cerebellum, which is part of the hind brain. Now, correct answer is option D. But for my first question, right? For my first question, which was going to be main function of cerebrum. Main function, although see, cerebrum has different parts which is responsible for thinking, handling memory and handling, hearing. We see that a large portion of it is dedicated towards thinking, right? Because we say that cerebrum is the thinking center of the brain. Which is why in this particular case, although hearing and memory is there, no main function, you say that it is thinking, right? So which is why I've given you two ways of looking at this question. This is not incorrect, but I hope all of you are clear. Yes? Ma'am, seems like we are not prepared. But it comes with practice, right? Just by studying the chapter, you will not... See, you will ace. I'm not saying no, but you also have to practice, right? Ma'am, class 9 sample paper, Soni Singh, it may not be available per se because 9th ka will still have some flexibility from school, but it will be roughly similar to class 10, okay? ठीक है, moving on to question number 7. I feel like I'll not keep up my promise. Cerebellum for body balance, cerebrum as the thinking center, right? All right. Moving on to question number 7. Identify which among the following statements about thyroxine is incorrect. Read the question. A. Thyroid gland requires iodine to synthesize thyroxine. Thyroxine is also called as thyroid hormone. It regulates carbohydrate, protein and fat metabolism in the body. Iron is essential for the synthesis of thyroxine. Array, easy peasy, so simple. This question you should be getting full marks, right? Yes. Team 7 guy is confident. He's like, ma'am, I know it. Yes. I guess it is D. Akshara, I know you see, you guys have to be a little more confident. See, even if you feel 50-50, no. Let me tell you, sometimes what happens is sometimes we know the answer but still we hold ourselves back. And if I ask you a cross question, then I can easily confuse you. So don't ever say that, ma'am, you know what, I think it's a little, I'm not sure. No, be confident, okay? Yes, confidently tell ma'am D. Yes, see, I can see somebody here was giving me, saying Navya is like, ma'am, confidence says she's giving the answer. So we've closed the polls. Have we closed the polls? Theek hai. Can we go up? 68% has given the answer as option D. Not bad, right? It's still a larger majority, right? Answer is D. Be confident, right? Be confident. So now, of course, right? Read the question half the time, right? Half the time you make silly mistakes because you are not reading the question, right? So here it is incorrect. So that means thyroid gland requires iodine to synthesize thyroxine. It is also called as thyroid hormone. It is responsible for regulating the protein, fat and carbohydrate metabolism. Iron is not necessary. You just established it is iodine. Iron that is there is essential for production of hemoglobin, right? We've learned about hemoglobin, which is why in this particular case, correct answer is option D. Yes? No problem. I know some of you had periodic test 1. It's okay. Chapter 2, watch the one shot. Come and watch this. It will definitely help you, right? So that way, students, 7 out of 7 for all of you. Lots of love, right? Okay. Now, 2 questions. What is the function of hypothalamus? Vaishnavi and many others are asking me. Hypothalamus that is there has many functions. One primary function is regulating body temperature. Also controls the functioning of the pituitary gland as well, as we have learned, right? So 2 functions. Now you also have a part of the brain which is called as thalamus. So your thalamus and hypothalamus together becomes your diencephalon, right? Yes. All right. Very good. Now, of course, yes, it is master of master gland. Exactly. 2 functions, they'll not ask you more than that. Manisha, diencephalon is basically your thalamus and hypothalamus together, which is part of your forebrain, right? Yes. Next up, as per your demand, subjective questions. Sapna and many others were asking. Next set of questions are going to be your subjective questions, right? So this is very simple. Explain the functions of sensory neuron, cranium, vertebral column, motor neuron, right? So this right here will come for 4 marks. That means 1 mark for each question. So you just need to write 1 sentence. Don't write stories here and say, oh ma'am, ye hua, wo hua and all that. Just write 1 single function. Yes? Very simple and easy this is. Exactly. Everybody's like, ma'am, it carries stimulus, receives stimulus. Very good, very good. But if you say only receive stimulus, half mark cut. I will cut half mark. Why? Carries impulse to CNS, I will cut half mark. Now you think about why I'm going to cut half mark for students telling me only carry. Very good, very good. You need to join the 2 points together, right? You can't just say it is going to one part. Every time for neuron, it should be from where to where. Remember this, right? This is while writing the answer, right? So what is the function of your sensory neuron? Carries impulses from the receptor, which is present in the sense organs, all the way to your CNS, right? So this is the function of your sensory neuron. If you write this, I will give you 1 mark. Yes? Now moving on to the next one, which is cranium. What is the function of cranium? Yes, very good. Exactly. Cranium is also commonly called as brain box, right? And we know that it protects the brain from shocks. And of course, we can say it is a protective covering that is there. Very simple and easy. Now next one, right? Next one, I'm going to be fast. I'm not going to spend too much time. Focus should be on keywords of the answer. Mechanical injury, absorbs shock. Very good, very good. Keywords are our focus. Next one is going to be vertebral column. What is the function of vertebral column? Again, very simple. Very good, Arohi, Navya. Yes, very good. Ma'am, difference between cranium and skull. Good question. Cranium is the brain box. This region of the brain, the brain box or the boxy part we see here, that is the cranium. The entire bone structure, all the bones, different parts of the bones that make up our face is the skull. So your cranium is part of the skull, right? Very good. So now, of course, vertebral column that is there is a it's a bony casing around the spinal cord, right? And protects the spine and, of course, allows to have a physical posture, right? So we are able to stand upright or do whatever, bend and do whatever we want to do because of our spinal cord. Yes? I mean, because of our vertebral column that is there. Last one is motor neuron. Motor neuron, what will you write? Yes? Jaldi, jaldi, motor neuron, what is it that you are going to write now? Very good. Just give me one moment. All right. Motor neuron sends the response, right? So your motor neuron that is there is responsible for carrying your impulses, right? It carries your impulses from where to where? From your CNS all the way to your effector, right? So these are the keywords that you will have to mention, right? So from your CNS to the effector. Difference between vertebral column and backbone? No. Vertebral column, scientific way of telling. Backbone, colloquial way, right? Yes, very good. Relay neuron to effector AV, you can write, but you can simply say CNS. No, make the answer simple. Don't complicate answers. We also have this habit of complicating it, right? Yes. Now, of course, students, very quickly, right, if you're enjoying this class, I ask only one thing, to hit that like button. No, I'm not telling anything else. Jaldi say, fatafat, make it 100 likes to show me your love because I see more than 100 students here in the live class. So hit that like button, jaldi say if you are enjoying the way I'm teaching, the way we have spent time to make sure that we make content amazing and easy for you, right? Okay. So when you're writing the answer, this is how you will have to write it. Now don't worry about taking screenshot or writing it side by side, right? So the main function that you need, the main thing you need to keep it in mind is that I will be sharing this with you on Telegram. So you will have the notes with you and I will make it a point I share it today, right? So 4 marks, 1 mark each, 1 sentence only you need to write. No complication. Affector is different from effector, right? Affector is effector is what we will use for a muscle or a gland, right? Yes. The other one that we use is for the neurons. There are different names for the neurons also, which is something we will not go into because it can get a little complicated, right? CNS is central nervous system, which includes your brain and spinal cord, art and craft. Okay? Moving on to question number 9, right? How do we will start? Post, maybe many of you don't have it for your midterm, so post your midterm prep, we will start how to. Okay? Very important question. Why does the flow of signals in a synapse from the axonal end of a neuron to dendritic end of another neuron take place, but why not in the reverse direction? Explain. 2 marks for this particular question. Fatima, what happened? Why? Why the emojis? How to draw brain? You don't need to draw. Brain will not come for drawing. Neuron will come for drawing, right? Chapter is completed, Khushi. We have done a rough run through of it, but we'll be having one shots and we will do a lot of revision. Don't worry. Very good, Shravya. Very good, AV. Very good, Anant. Very good, Akshara. Yes. Signal transduction. Elaborate on that. Yes. Khushbu saying dedicated receptor channels. Okay. It is a valve. Very good. Conversion to electric to chemical. Yes. Very good. Very good. Yes. But Ayat, good question. I will take that. Remind me, right? So now, of course, why is it? It is because of signal transduction. But you need to elaborate, right? You have to elaborate the question. Now, why is it happening from the axonal end of neuron 1 and dendritic end of neuron 2, right? So now we know that when the neurons exist, they are not joined to each other, but rather we see that there is a fine gap that exists between the two, which we call as a synapse, right? And we know that if the impulse has to be transmitted from one neuron to the next, we need to make it a if it has to transmit, we see that there are certain specialized chemicals called as neurotransmitters, right? So we see that there are neurotransmitters which are present in the axonal end of the neuron, not at the dendritic end, which is why once the impulse reaches the axonal end, neurotransmitters are released, as you see right here. So these are your neurotransmitters. So once it releases, they are the ones which travel across your synapse. And we see that there is a change from electrical to chemical to electrical, right? So this is an ongoing process that happens, which is why we see that it is a one-way valve. Very good, right? So we see that it is a one-way valve that happens. So you need to start with defining what is a synapse. Then you need to talk about how it is because of the neurotransmitter and how we see that it can happen only in one direction and not in the reverse direction. So if you write these pointers, you will get 2 marks in this particular case. I have elaborated a little more than necessary, but you can take care of it, right? Now, ma'am, if impulse started to move in reverse, what will happen? It cannot. That is what we are trying to say. It cannot move in the reverse direction because dendrites have receptors to those chemicals. They cannot push neurotransmitters. So they cannot, right? Exemplar mein it is there. Ma'am, how much to write for 2 marks? 2 points or max to max 3 points, right? Not more than that. This I have elaborated a little more than necessary, but it is okay, right? Awesome. Moving on to question number 10. Clearly, I will take 45 minutes, but it's okay. Next one. Draw a neat label diagram of neuron and label the dendrite and label the axon. This here is going to come for 2 marks. 1 mark for neuron diagram, 1 mark for labeling, right? Now, this again will come for 2 marks here. Yes? This is going to come for 2 marks, so you will have a total of 4 marks coming for this. Arey, brain ka diagram will not come. Don't take tension. Yes? Awesome. Now, neuron diagram is very easy. I will show topper sheet. Yes, I'll do a separate session. Okay? So, when you're drawing neuron, very easy. Okay? It's very, very simple. I'll still draw and show it to you. Make a star like this, right? Many pointy structures. Okay? Then draw one long one. Right? So, draw a long one. Oops. Just let me draw this properly. So, draw a long tubular one like this. Now, from this star, whatever you have drawn, right? Make branches out here, right? See, understand that you don't need to make a very beautiful looking neuron, which is exactly the same as the one in your textbook, right? You just need to have all the parts mentioned properly. So, you will do all of this. Okay, all the branches are coming out. Branches have come. Now, draw your nucleus. Your axon is ready. So, I am drawing this to show you that it need not look like a perfect neuron. You just need to draw whatever is necessary, right? Draw the parts. If they are conveyed, then you don't need to know anything more. Now, they have asked you to label dendrite. So, you will label your dendrite here and you will label your axon. Yes? 2 marks you have got just doing this, right? Neuron is very similar to a tree. But my point of drawing neuron is to show that it need not be some beautiful looking neuron. It needs to convey the message, right? Yes. Is it? Exam may normally it will not come, bacha, in CBSE exam so far, right? So this of course is neuron image. Next up, what is the main thinking part of the brain? We know that it is cerebrum, right? Part responsible for maintaining posture and balance. It is going to be cerebellum, right? So thinking part is cerebrum and your responsible for posture and balance is cerebellum, right? Easy peasy. My God, 4 marks you have got as like that only. You don't even need to worry, right? Diagram being neat is important. Diagram looking beautiful is secondary, right? Oh, so sweet, thank you. Intelligent child, bacha, if you need help with brain diagram, I'll help you out in the next class, right? Ma'am, so what's the base of this? Basis of what? Can you tell me what is the basis of what? I'm not sure. Ma'am, involuntary action को brain से कौन कहाँ पार्ट कंट्रोल करता है? Involuntary actions are controlled by your medulla oblongata, which is a part of your hind brain, right? So they are the ones which control your involuntary actions. Usha, I will call your name, right? Ma'am, if we had only endocrine system, then we will be able to get shocks, because I believe we feel shocks are because of nerve impulse. Yes, but at the same time, if you had only if you did not have a nervous system, you might not be also reacting to danger, right? See, fear, immediate in reactions you take, even the fact of consciousness, control, thinking, you might not be able to do any of that if you had only a nerve chemical system, right? Yes. Cerebellum. Cerebellum is basically the one that maintains your posture and body balance, Usha, right? Reflex action will be there. Oh, it's so important. Please don't ignore. Cretinism. So cretinism, I'm going to take 1 minute to take some doubts. Cretinism that is there is basically when there is less thyroxine which is produced, right? Less thyroxine in children results in cretinism. While dwarfism that is there is basically less amount of your growth hormone. And somebody, I think AV asked me about dormancy of seeds. Dormancy is equal to being inactive, right? So when you say a seed is dormant, it means it is inactive. There are no chemical reactions happening within it. It is just not doing anything, right? So that is what we mean by that. Gigantism is again gigantism, right? So gigantism is when there is excess of growth hormone which is getting secreted, right? Ma'am, spinal cord does not control involuntary actions. Your reflex action is a type of involuntary action that it controls, right? So apart from regulating reflex action, it also mediates the information sent from the brain, right? Yes. Breathing and all of that is controlled by pons. Ma'am, is nervous system not there? Then reflex action will not be there. Yes, reflex action will not be there. Okay. Ma'am, the period before germination. Yes, student Ash, correctly, right? Oh, so sweet, Ganapati, so sweet. Gibberellins, I have already explained. Gibberellins is when, which activates seed germination. Gibberellins is responsible for stem elongation. Concept of hormones in animals. I will take 1 hour to explain that, Sahiti. But there is a video, right? There is a video on which I have done hormones in animals. You can watch that, right? Okay, quickly moving on. Now I'll take doubts in the end. Doubts in the end, okay? Now name the 3 major regions of the brain. Write 1 function of each. 3 marks for this particular question, right? Yes. Fatima, you can ask me the question, but major content doubts I will take towards the end, right? Very good, okay. 3D brain structure. Oh, I've actually done it last year with central nervous system, but I'll do it once again. Not a problem. Fore, mid, hind. Exactly. So you have 3 main regions. The 3 major regions are, you have your forebrain, right? You have your midbrain and you have your hindbrain. Now, I will advise that you mention what your forebrain includes and what your hindbrain includes, right? So, your forebrain that is there includes your cerebrum, thalamus and hypothalamus, right? And we know that the main function of the forebrain, which makes up your cerebrum, is also to control your voluntary actions and thinking and various other activities. Midbrain controls reflexes of the eye and the face. Your hindbrain includes all of these 3, so maintains body balance and posture. You need to write only 1 function each, right? So write 1 function each and you will get 3 marks for the same. Yes? Okay, very good. Indumati, I will take your doubts. I will take. Yes. Now moving on. Akshara, I want to take that question, but if I start taking doubts, I may elaborate, but I will take it towards the end, right? Now, let's move on. Doubts towards the end of the class. So those of you who want to stay back for doubts, you can stay back. But for the remaining of you, you can leave, right? So for the rest of you, I'm going to finish off the questions. Now the next one is state the 2 types of movements we observe in plants. Give 1 example of each type. 2 marks, easy peasy question, right? Very, very good. So you can say they are growth independent and growth dependent movements, or you can say that they are tropic movements and nastic movements. So in the case of nastic movements, we know that this is not growth dependent, and of course we know that the movement happens due to change in cell shape, right? So it's change in cell shape, or what we can say as turgor pressure, of due to turgor pressure, which means movement of water and change in cell shape, right? So we see that this right here is how nastic movement happens. You can give the example of, oh, I forgot what is touch me not plant called as. Chui mui. Yes. Give the example of touch me not plant here, right? Then of course you have trophic movement here, which is in response to the stimulus, right? So we see that this is in response to stimulus, and of course in this particular case you can give the example of phototropism and all of that. Yes. Class 10, lot of studying and hard work is all I have to say, right? It's not easy, but I want to make sure that I'm on top of my game every day. Arey, samosa pudi, don't say samosa now, I'll be hungry. Yeah, I'm very, very hungry today. I felt like eating Maggie quite a lot before I came to class. So if you say samosa now, I'll have cravings for samosa also. Yes. Hey, kya please? What did I miss? Water amount. Yes. I don't know why everybody's telling please. ठीक है. 2 marks. Easy peasy, right? Yes, all right. Ma'am, why nerve cannot reproduce? So at one point, the cell division stops, right? So the cell division of all cells is regulated by something called as a cell cycle. And the cell cycle puts a pause in the nerve cells because we see that there is a fixed number of nerves in our body, right? Yes. I want to, Manisha. I want to, right? Ma'am, my ma'am took this lesson. Oh, is it? Don't worry, right? Don't worry. ठीक है. Moving on to question number 13. Oh, this is super important. This is also V. How many ever V's I could write? No? So this is also V important. Yes? So please star mark this in your book because I'm telling you this question will come. I feel all my senses, all my cells in my body is telling me, ma'am, Aishwarya, tell your students, board exam, this question is going to come. It will definitely come, right? So as we all know in this particular case, you got to define phototropism, hormone which is responsible for the same, right? So now when you talk about phototropism, we know that phototropism that is the movement of the plant in response, right? It is in response to light. Yes? And here you can write about how the stem is positively phototropic and how the root is negatively phototropic. Now, which is the hormone that is responsible for this? It is nothing but auxin, right? So, we know that auxin is a hormone which is synthesized in the shoot tips and the root tips, yes? And we know that auxin is sensitive to light, right? So, it is sensitive to light. So, when light is here, right? We see that auxin, if this is a plant, my plant or the stem will bend in the direction of light because auxin is synthesized in the opposite direction. Yes? So which is why in this particular case, they've just asked you define phototropism, name the hormone responsible. So you can write 1 mark of what phototropism is, 1 mark of the hormone, 1 mark on how auxin hormone is the one that is responsible for this. Yes? Diffusion of auxin. Exactly. Very good. Friday, I will explain plant coordination, but again, it's almost as good as taking a whole class on plant coordination. So give me some time, I will give you a rough outline, right? Rough outline towards the end. Even Nishant Cuba. Next one, what are phytohormones? List the 4 types of phytohormones and where they are synthesized. Now, this is a very old question. They may not ask you this time, but nonetheless, it is important to know. So, this right here could come for 3 marks. This could also come for 5 marks as well. Very easy. What are phytohormones? Plant hormones. Very good. They are basically plant hormones that are chemical messengers that are responsible for coordinating various activities. Whoever wants plant hormone explanation, you listen to me now carefully. Okay? Ishant was asking me plant coordination. No? So plant coordination happens one way with the help of plant hormones or phytohormones. Yes? And here we see that their site of production and action is different. Now what are the different phytohormones? Auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, abscisic acid and ethylene. So plant coordination can be defined as the various activities that happen in the plants or various chemical reactions that are coordinated where phytohormones play a key role. What are all the different phytohormones? You have auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, ethylene, and you have abscisic acid, right? Now, as per your textbook, ethylene is not there. You have only 4: auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, and abscisic acid. So, auxin is produced in the root and shoot tip. Gibberellin is also produced in the meristematic apical buds, and it is also present in the roots. Cytokinin is also transported or present in the roots. Ethylene is mainly found in some of the fruits and flowers. Abscisic acid is found in aging ones, right? So you can go ahead and you can write the answer down, right? So here you will get 2 marks for mentioning this, 3 marks for writing the tabular column. Hamida, we discussed a question on this as to why nerve impulse is unidirectional. Hamida, Yuvraj, rewind back to the question on synapse, right? You will be able to find it. I have done this question just now. Last question for today. Ethylene is coming in final exam. Not really. As per textbook, it is not there, so it will not come. If it is not there in NCERT, it will not come. 2 more minutes, make class test done. Easy peasy 2-mark question on list the function of testosterone and estrogen and where are they secreted. Very, very easy question. Testosterone is secreted by the male reproductive organ, which is the testis, which is responsible for controlling secondary sexual characteristics. What are secondary sexual characteristics? They are the characteristics that are there, which like facial hair, growth of pubic hair, growth of chest hair. These are all secondary sexual characteristics that makes you identify an individual as a male or a female, right? So in this particular case, that is a function of testosterone. Ovary, estrogen is produced by the ovary, which is the main female reproductive organ. That, of course, is responsible for regulating secondary sexual characters and ovulation, right? So again, secondary sexual characteristics in females includes development of breasts, growth of growth of pubic hair, armpit hair, all of that, right? So when you're writing the answer, please make sure you write it for both of it and you will get 2 marks, okay? Yes. Synapse is basically the fine gap that exists between the axonal end of one neuron and the dendritic end of the other neuron. So students, I'm going to give you all a homework, right? So I'm going to give you all a homework where I want you to tell me, what can I give you? All right. Define reflex arc and represent the pathway using a flow chart. 2 marks, you only need to write reflex arc and tell me what is the pathway, right? Yes. Okay, now I will take some doubts. Hydrotropism is response to water, right? Explanation is not going to be possible. Okay, explanation you'll have to go watch, but I'll be able to take a simple one. Now, Akshara had a very good question on reflex arc. Ma'am, is the brain really involved in reflex arc? So whenever I teach reflex arc, I will always say that it is never only the spinal cord. Even if spinal cord is making a decision. So for example, if I touch something hot and I withdraw my hand, the information goes to my spinal cord and I do the action. But simultaneously, because to reduce the time between the action and the information, spinal cord will also send a message to the brain saying, hey, you know what, we are doing this. So brain is fully aware about all the reflex actions we are doing, even though it is controlled by spinal cord, right? So that's why brain is informed about it. Yes? Okay. DNF block, ask Kriti ma'am. 4 brain functions, voluntary action, it does. How to draw reflex arc diagram, you have to practice, right? Yes. Ma'am, can you tell about brain in simple words? Brain is a control center, right? Brain is like your principal in school, right? Just like how your principal is responsible for making sure all the teachers do their work, all your students are doing properly, your brain will control various activities, right? Can spinal cord think? Good question. Thinking is a concept which mainly is there in the brain. There could be a lot of research which is happening in the field of neuroscience. This is what we are learning is the basic fundamentals, right? There is so much in the field of neuroscience that are still getting discovered. So many things that we are unlearning and relearning again. So you never know, right? I cannot really give a pakka answer. Hindbrain controls involuntary actions. Yes, hindbrain controls it and it goes, right? It message passes or it goes through the spinal cord, right? Yes, AB, it does. Summarize the session. Whoa. Students, go watch the one-shot video. Originates from the base of the spinal cord, originates from the base of the hindbrain, right? Yes. How to boost cerebrum, thinking activities, practice. Scientific name. I feel like I gave you a free pass with the questions, you know. Interstitial fluid. Interstitial fluid, life process question, right? Interstitial fluid is, see, interstitial fluid is the fluid that is present between the cells, also considered tissue fluid, right? But you have cerebrospinal fluid, which is different. Ma'am, name one gustatory receptor and one olfactory receptor in humans. Gustatory receptor and olfactory. Specialized name of cells I am not able to remember, but your gustatory is the papillae that you have, right? Your gustatory cells which you find in your papillae of the tongue. I'm not able to remember technical names right now. Yes? Advantage of hormonal system, regulates growth and regulates activities which need to be constantly monitored, right? Nervous system takes care of the immediate stuff and coordinating and regulating it, but other things are regulated by it. Yes? Awesome that you got 13.5 out of 14 NSM. Proud of you, proud of you. Yes. Heredity we will do later. Okay. Menti quiz soon, right? Company of my phone, is that necessary? How do we perceive pain? Receptors, right? See, physical pain that you see. Physical pain we are able to perceive because of some receptors that are there. Emotional pain, those are, again, emotional pain sounds very sad, but those are things that are something which are made mentally, right? Geotropism, response to gravity. I am not sure about this love hormone, which is why I am not answering. I will read about it and I will tell you. But if there, I am not sure about a love hormone. I can't be like I know everything, right? So I don't know about love hormone, but oxytocin that is there is normally synthesized during pregnancy to allow muscular relaxation so that the baby can come out, right? Yes. There are many things for which I don't know the answers as well, but if you have doubts, let me know in the comments of this video. And now, of course, I will be signing off. So I hope all of you enjoyed today's class. If you did, let me know in the comments of this video. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, right? Very important you subscribe. Next week, we are going to be coming up with competency questions. Yes, most in demand competency questions will be coming next week. Brace yourself. Come prepared for this. This is very, very important. I am not giving you any easy questions, right? So next week we're having competency. Come prepared. So hit the like button. Do not forget to share this video. I will see you soon. But up until then, students, take care. Lots of love and bye-bye.